Okay, I'd like to call the Enfield Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Agency meeting of Tuesday, February 19, 2013 to order. May I have roll call, please?
Jo Marie Nelson.
Here.
Roby Staples.
Here.
Donna Corbin-Spinsky.
Here.
Jill Kravitz here. John Ungeyer. Joseph Albert. Frank Alimo. Brian Peruta. And Joseph Perello Jr.
Okay. Fire evacuation procedures. The ones I have printed out aren't for this room, but in the event of a fire, you're going to go out the doors to your left, go out the double doors to the parking lot. Okay. Pledge of Allegiance, can we stand?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Executive session, we have nothing tonight, right, Jose?
Nothing.
Okay. Public participation, issues of concern that are not on the agenda. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to come forward? Okay. Public hearings, we have none scheduled. Correspondence, Jose?
Just have the Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission notice of action, which is, I believe, in the folders.
Okay.
From the February 7th meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioners' correspondence. Any site visit updates or anything anybody would like to address this evening? No. Okay. Approval of minutes, February 5th, 2012, regular, should be 2013, regular meeting minutes.
Is that what it says on the agenda yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a motion?
Motion
to approve. Okay, motion made by Donna,
Second.
seconded by Jill. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Unanimous. Number 11, Wetlands Agent Report.
I think the wetlands agent is on a cruise somewhere. Much better weather than we're having tonight. So there's really not much to report. I just do want to take this opportunity and just let everyone know. I know it's not wetlands related, but it's if you're citizens of the town, you might be interested in the workshop that's going on. I'll pass it along. Saturday morning at the Village Center. As you may have heard, the Planning and Zoning Commission, or the town, received a grant for $50,000 through CROG to study zoning in and around the Thompsonville area, specifically looking at transit-oriented development opportunities that may be coming through when and if the train station comes, or the transit center becomes reality. But we're looking at it, even if nothing happens. The town, obviously, that area needs rezoning. It's a lot of it's zoned R33, which is residential, 33, which is suburban, 33,000 square foot minimum lots, and I don't think you'll find maybe one or two lots that meet that criteria at all, and if any, in Townsville. So there's a consultant that we've hired to look at the zoning, and there'll be a workshop Saturday morning from 9 to 10. There'll be some buses just taking a circle around. Opportunity for people to point out to the consultants what they like, don't like, as to what they see. So there'll be a little circular route through Thompsonville that they've planned out, and then from 10 to 12 an interactive workshop, just to get people's views before they get really into the meat of their study. And then hopefully we'll have this completed in three months and have some good recommendations.
Great.
So.
Okay.
Hope people can attend. The other thing I'd just like to point out is under all, when it comes to that, under other business, if you may wish to add, J.R. Russo's here to represent the project on Steel Road. They're also representing Mayfield, the people who are proposing to develop Mayfield, the old Mayfield site for apartments. There was a DEP plan or order to mitigate some plantings that were habitat to some endangered critters, and which they have done. The previous people did. They discovered more habitat, which they have to find more areas to relocate to. And they just, since they're here, they asked if they could just give you a brief update as to what they're going to do. I don't think it's going to disturb any wetlands, but they just want to make sure you guys were up to speed as to what their plans were. So
Okay.
if you might want to add them under other business, that would be appreciated.
Okay, should we add that when we get to other
Oh,
business?
you can make a motion whenever. You want to make a
Okay.
motion now to do that, then.
Okay,
then
is
so.
there a motion to add, somebody want to make that motion?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll make the motion to add it to our agenda for, you want it under other business or?
Yes.
Under other business.
Okay, motion made by Jill, to add J.R. Russo, the Mayfield property discussion,
Second.
seconded by Roby. Okay, all in favor? Okay. Next on the agenda is bond release. We have none this evening. We have no old business either. Number 14, new business. Inland Wetlands 552, Brian Russo. Construction of a single-family house located at 105 Steel Road. Proposed activity within a regulated area, map 51, lot 001. Submitted 12913, received 2513. PPE is 21913, and MAD is 41013. Hi, good evening.
Good evening. My name's Tim Kuhn, professional engineer with J.R. Russo Associates, here representing Mr. Russo. Where's the best place to set this up?
No. You're shrugging the
So
shoulder.
everybody can see
We can
it?
go on the other side.
I can move the camera.
I think-
It's not a big deal.
You can move the camera, so,
Okay.
wherever everybody can see it over there?
Make sure that-
Yeah, everybody can see that. And then,
That works. I can-
I didn't bring mine.
Yep,
yeah, probably there. I mean, yeah, you don't have to turn it that far.
that's
That's
good.
good.
Mr. Russo's out of town, otherwise he would be here. Well,
Do we got a mic? All right. I don't know how far that goes. So cozy up. All right.
I think it's on, is it on?
Yeah, it's on. It's just recording.
I'm going to end up in front of the plan here. Mr. Russo owns a lot out on Steel Road. It is a 1.15 acre lot located just north of the East Windsor Town Line. This is the East Windsor Town Line, this is Golden Irene's. Steel Road is down at the bottom of the page. It is an existing lot of record, and he is proposing to put up a single-family home out at that location. John Ianni from Highland Soils did go out and delineate the wetlands for us. The wetland line is shown here in green, with the regulated area as the dashed green line as well. We did submit his letter report regarding his delineation, and the existing area, actually the green line, you'll notice the wetland line is pretty coincident with the existing tree line out there. Everything to this side of it where we're proposing development is currently maintained as a hayfield. Okay? As I mentioned, he's proposing a single-family home to be serviced by public water and sewer. We have the house located as close to Steel Road as the zoning setbacks will allow. Therefore, we can't move that any further away from the wetlands. We're also proposing a barn in the back for storage. The barn, actually, the plan that was submitted with the application, that barn was located outside of the side yard setback, and it was brought to our attention recently that there's a conflict in the zoning regs, and it can actually be located within the side yard setback. So today, I revised the plan to move it to within 15 feet of the property line, which moved it about 11 feet further away from the wetlands to the south. So I do have that plan, assuming that it's approved tonight for your file, the revised plan, and be happy to accept that as a condition of approval if you would, to approve this plan with that relocation of the barn.
Not on this one,
No, it's,
Right,
This
yeah.
town.
that plan I think he's showing up there shows it.
This shows, yes.
And this one does too.
Yeah, before it was located further to the north.
Yeah, the regulations allow accessory structures to be located up to 5 feet away from, like sheds and garages. Detached accessory structures can be placed 5 feet away. He was, in the original plan, he was maintaining the principal building setbacks, which now you realize he can. can actually move it closer and farther away from the wetlands, but I think he still wants to maintain some.
Yeah, he wants to maintain a way to
To
be
drive
able to
around it,
drive
so
to
that's
get
why
to
it's
the
not any
back.
closer than 50
Exactly,
feet.
exactly. So,
So what is the difference from our plan to the wetlands there? What, you're moving it how many feet?
it's 11 feet closer
11
to the
feet,
property
okay,
line.
okay.
Yep. Okay. All of the proposed activity is within the existing field area. There is no direct wetland disturbance. We will be putting up a perimeter silt fence on the down gradient side, as well as construction entrance, and we'll be stockpiling, have a temporary topsoil stockpile as far as erosion controls go. It's pretty straightforward. We're just asking for a permit to conduct this regulated activity. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions? Jose, do you have any comments?
No, pretty straightforward. Again, unfortunately, we don't have a prepared motion by Jim. I know he was appropriated by Public Works last week to deal with snow removal operations, so we didn't see him much in the office, and then
We see
nerve of him, he
that.
took off for a cruise. After that,
Yes.
so, it's pretty straightforward. I don't think in talking with him, he had no issues with the house. He had some concerns about the barn being, or was going to be, it really, I think, calling it a barn is sort of a misnomer, because it's not an agricultural property. It doesn't qualify as an agricultural property, so it's more like a garage for storage. They don't have the requisite 3 acres to actually put an agricultural barn there, but I think moving it away from the wetlands, I think alleviates some of the concerns that Jim had with that work being that close to the wetlands. The house itself was not a problem.
Right. Okay. Any questions from?
You know, I don't know, this is the first time in the 2 years or so that I've been here that we've actually, done a residential house. Is there anything that, I mean, there doesn't look like there would be any real concerns. The only thing I'm thinking is, did you say you moved it closer to the wetlands?
No, further away.
Further,
Yes.
okay.
11 feet away.
11 feet away.
Yeah, and that was Jim's only concern, was the proximity of that barn and the grading to the wetland. But as he mentioned, the plan submitted tonight moves it further away, so if you were to
Pretty
choose.
straightforward to me.
Yeah, my recommendation, if you were to choose to approve it, would be to approve it with standard applicable standard conditions and with the alternative plans that were presented this evening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve wetlands 552. That's it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Brian Russo, with no impact on wetlands.
Second?
Motion made by Roby, seconded by Donna. Any discussion?
Again, it's with the understanding of all the applicable.
With all the applicable
standard conditions
conditions.
and citing the alternative
Yes.
plan.
All in favor? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next item on the agenda, other business. Is there a motion to, did we do this?
Yeah,
add
we
it?
did that.
We already added it.
We added it.
Okay. Chair Russo, come on forward.
Or the other part of Jan.
The other Russo.
Got the whole company here, though.
No.
We were gonna bring them all, but
Goes on. Whoop, going this way?
maybe I'll bring this up here and I'm gonna make it a
Okay.
little easier.
And it's gotta have to, this, Roby got the one of your microphone.
Eliminate it?
Loan it to him, or one of those.
What is
Oh,
that?
thank you.
Will it reach?
Maybe.
Should.
Still going a little bit.
Yeah, it's still cord still there.
Not much.
Yeah, that's it.
So maybe you can speak sitting down.
Don't worry, you got a big mouth.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good evening. My name is Jay Ursary. I'm with J.R. Russo and Associates. First of all, I want to thank you for allowing us to come here kind of on the last minute to introduce you to this project and give yourself a little familiarity as to what we're proposing here. This site is located on North Maple Street, almost up to Longmeadow, on the easterly side, and it's the former Mayfield project, which some of you probably are pretty familiar with. If you go into Mayfield Drive, head to the back, you've got the Dartmoor condo complex that's located there. And this is a project that was approved by this commission, I'm going to say maybe 10 years ago now. It goes back a number of years. Actually prior to that, isn't it, Jose?
15, 16,
15 years
17
ago.
years before I got here. I know that.
Construction was started, roadways were built, infrastructure was built, and a building or a stick of lumber never saw the site, and it still sits that way today. My client, Chapman Properties of Ellington, who is an apartment builder and operator, has an option on the property and would like to develop it into a luxury apartment complex. He's been working with the Planning and Zoning Commission over almost the last year now in getting regulations in place. We have done that, got a text amendment, got a zone change approved to allow this development. And as part of it, what's gone on, and actually started back with the original developer or former owner, is there's some endangered and threatened plant species that were located on this property. And the former owner engaged a fellow by the name of Dr. Richard Canavan, who was an environmental scientist, to put together a mitigation plan to mitigate the proposed development. And some of that work had already been done. The DEP has been involved. And what they found is, after the site was originally disturbed with the earlier construction, that these plants actually did quite well and spread on their own. And now the mitigation plan is kind of expanded, if you will, to the point where they are asking the developer now, who is Mr. Chapman, to relocate a number of these plants and expand the mitigation site. And they've also found that there are some endangered and threatened moth species on the site as well, which are going to also become part of the mitigation plan. So the mitigation essentially is going to take place on the south side or the right-hand side of Mayfield Drive as you drive down it, and the development for the most part on the left side or north side of Mayfield Drive. So we've put together a mitigation plan, and I gave you a small copy or version of it there. Dr. Canavan has put together a fairly lengthy draft narrative of that plan, and we've had some meetings with DEP, and we had a meeting today with DEP. And one of the things that DEP asked us to do, or advised us to do, was, well, what about the Enfield Wetland Commission? Are they aware of what you're doing, and are they familiar with the project? And we said, well, no, we haven't been there yet. We would be coming to you at some point in time. And they said, well, we'd rather see you do it now versus later, and we'd like to see some written correspondence from them indicating that they are aware and are essentially on board with the project. And I guess at this point, let me just give you a little bit of an overview of the site and how the site lays out and where some of the wetlands are located. And I can tell you initially right up front, there is no wetland disturbance involved in this. So let me just give you a little bit of an overview here of where we are. I've got long arms, so I think this is, I think it's going to work.
I would have brought my pointer out, I know.
So if we look at the plan that we have in front of us, to the left-hand side of the plan is North Maple Street. This is Mayfield Drive coming in, heading in an easterly direction, and this would be Dartmoor that's located over here in this white area. And when we flip the plan over and I show you the other side, you'll be able to see the buildings here. Our development, if you will, is proposed on the north side. There are no wetlands on the north side of the road. We're looking at 34 buildings, which equates to 340 luxury apartment units, a office and gym facility or workout facility, and a pool. Over on the south side of the road, we're looking at a water quality basin, a mail area or mailbox pickup area where all the postmen will come and drop off the mail for all of these individuals, a maintenance facility, and a trash compactor and trash facility, as well as some landscape storage area. The Chapmans own and operate all of their facilities. They will be here. There'll be somebody on site every day. They'll have an office here, maintenance people and office people. They'll be here all the time. The rest of the site, which is this area in green here located to the east, is an area that we had proposed right up front as open space conservation area and is now going to become a mitigation area for plantings, some selective thinning, and essentially some landscape work, which will involve transplanting some of the plant material, being the grasses from the north side to this side, some of which has already taken place. There's 2 small areas here that were done about 1.5 years ago. We're going to expand on that. We also would be taking some shrub material as well and transplanting it. Pitch pine is one of the species that's very dominant on this site and one of the host plants for these moths that have been seen on the site. Some pitch pine will also be transplanted, and there is a large area of pitch pine that's already located on this side. In that area, we will be performing some selective thinning to help promote the growth of the pitch pine and bring in more smaller understory pitch pine. So that being said, let me just flip this over, and I'm going to show you the full-scale version of the 8.5 by 11 handout that I gave you. And what we have here again, this is the Mayfield project, and this is how it sits. You can see the roads were built. A lot of the area was cleared, but no buildings were ever built. Dartmoor is located over here. Here's our proposed maintenance facility, mailbox building. And essentially all of this area here to the east would become mitigation, open space, conservation easement, and it's about 23 acres in size. The DEP is currently reviewing the narrative and plans that we have submitted. And as I said, they're going to be looking for something from this commission indicating that they're aware of what we're doing, any permits that may be required, we would be applying to you for. And I think at this point in time, we haven't spoken formally with Jim yet. He has seen this, the planning staff has been aware of it, we've been before planning and zoning. I think an application would probably be in the form of a determination of permit need, since this would probably be considered conservation, I think, or maybe even passive recreation, because there'll be some walking trails that are going to be located in here. And ultimately, I think the custodian of this is probably either going to be the Northern Connecticut Land Trust or possibly the town of Enfield, if there's some interest. And we're not sure yet, but those are the two that we're thinking at this point, and the DEP is probably more would prefer the land trust to take title to this 23 acres of land, and with an agreement with the Chapmans as the operator to do all the maintenance that's required to keep it in the form that they want to see it, to help promote the habitat that's required for the different plant species and so forth. So we wanted to come here tonight, introduce it to you so you got an idea of what we're doing. Jim is away. We'll be back, I think, next week. We plan on making an appointment with Jim, coming in, sitting with him, going through the same thing. And I think probably would like to get on your next meeting agenda, again, for an informal, after you've had a little more time to maybe digest this, take a look at this a little closer. And in the meantime, I'm going to make copies of the narrative, which I will get out to you, so everybody has an opportunity to maybe take a look at this and see what we're proposing. Come see you again at your next meeting, and again talk with Jim in the meantime, and then maybe at that point in time make a formal request to the commission to hopefully get you on board and pen a letter for us indicating that you've seen it and we're not crazy and you don't want to throw us out of town.
Yeah, and in the regulations, I mean, I don't even know if you need a permit determination need. It just says, under Section 4 of our regulations, permitted uses as of right and non-regulated uses. 4.2 says, following operations shall be permitted as non-regulated uses in wetlands, provided they do not disturb natural and indigenous character of the wetland or water courses, and so on and so forth. And A is conservation of soil, vegetation, water fish, shellfish, and wildlife, and outdoor recreation. So I think conservation, as you mentioned, is probably, you don't need to submit a permit application, but if you're looking for a letter saying, there's no objection on the part of the agency.
And that's basically where we are.
We put on the next agenda. Obviously, we added it to tonight's agenda, so a vote would not be appropriate. But at the next meeting, you might want to just take a formal vote saying you've heard the presentation and find no objection
Right,
to.
and at that
to the
point, then
mitigation.
we'll have a copy of all this, we can review it and
Right.
then just decide at that
And
point.
and like I said, we'll
whether
get
it's
you copies of the
administrative or-
narrative,
yeah.
and I'll get you full-size copies of the plan as well, because understandably, this is a little bit difficult to read at such a small scale,
Okay.
so that you can take a look at it, and I'm sure you'll have some questions, and, you know, at your next meeting, we'll be happy to come along again and answer any questions that you may have, and hopefully give you the comfort level that you need to get on board with us, and hopefully we can make this project work. Mr. Chapman's been at it for over a year now, and the seller is getting a little anxious to bring it to an end in terms of a closing, if you will, and so we're trying to get all our ducks in a row and get everything moving forward so that we can get to that point.
Actually, all it's changed is where you put the mailboxes, right, from the original project.
The original project had the mailboxes located right up here. What the Chapmans have found in all their other developments, and I felt this a little odd myself when they first told me, but they've got a track record, is that people will come, bring their trash to the compactor, do their recycling, and pick up their mail. And they found that putting the two things side by side seems to work, and everybody's comfortable with it, so they've got other facilities in Vernon and Ellington. There's one in East Windsor that Cliff's brother has put together, which you may have seen across from Reeves Garden Center, and they're all very similar to what we're proposing here, and they found that this seems to work for them. So I thought it a little odd myself, Roby, when I first saw it, but they assure us that this is the way it works the best.
Are there any other questions
Great project.
tonight?
I thought there was some
Okay.
footing of foundations already started.
None that I saw.
There was a foundation hole which we had to
Oh,
fill
had
in
to
because
fill in.
people were.
I remember when we did that
Kids were
other
playing there.
condo project further to the east there, remember?
There's
We're gonna drain it to
Stonegate.
Shaker Pines.
Stonegate?
That's where it was, yeah, I believe that
That's
was
at
it.
the end. That's
Yeah, 'cause I
actually
own
still an
one of
approved
these
project,
I used to-
but
Dartmoor?
I don't know if it ever will be built. Those were single-family detached senior over
Yeah.
55. But it still has a valid approval, just.
Because they were complaining in Dartmoor about the sand blowing into
Yeah.
the...
You
Yeah,
can see the
understandable.
aerial, how it
Yeah, it
looks.
is, it's all sand.
It's all beach sand.
Yeah, they actually stripped all the topsoil, and they've got it all windrowed up here in
Yeah.
the front, and I'm sure the sand does blow, it's just like beach sand.
Yeah, we called the bond on part of it, and were able to level some of the sand piles that were the most offensive and reseed them. I think the ones along Mayfield got established vegetation, and they're not blowing all over the place, but a few years back, we did use some of the bond money to hire a guy with a bulldozer to level some of the ones up on the, just north of that little curving drive. And we're able, because those were blown across towards, actually across North Maple.
North Maple.
And obliterating the sidewalk at times, so we bulldozed it and seeded it. And I haven't had any complaints since, so that's good. Other than people, using it for dumping.
Dumping. There's some evidence of that
That's
out there.
the other complaint, that from Dartmoor's people going there at all times with their pickups and dump. It's probably people all from
Looks like a good
Massachusetts.
All right, and just to recap, the reason you're here is DEP has asked that you come in front of us, mainly to this, I don't know what I want to call this, an endangered plant, an endangered weed?
There are
What is
some
it?
endangered and threatened plant species. There are
Okay.
two. One's I think what they call the nut sedge, and the other one is a frostweed. And then there are 6 different types of moths that have been apparently documented on the site, although we haven't seen any
With
that,
these
that like these pitch pine, the host plants that we have. So that's the reason for promoting them. There's a number of pine stands over here. You can actually see them in the aerial, and we will be doing
But
some work to enhance those.
DEP will actually be telling you the mitigation, I mean, this is
Correct.
what they wanted you to do?
Correct.
Okay, okay. All right.
Get it over there. That's good.
And obviously, when the project comes in before planning and zoning, it'll also be back
Right.
for some permits.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you for your time.
And we'll see you at the next meeting.
All right.
Okay, next item under other business, Heritage Farms condo maintenance permit extension. We've decided to talk about that at a later date,
Okay.
unless you had anything on that.
No, I'm
No.
glad, because I have nothing.
The official map update discussion, again, we talked about it at our last meeting. Jim has said, you know, let's digest it for a couple of weeks, and then decide if we wanted to take it up at a special meeting, and perhaps maybe have a consultant go out and check some areas, but again, we'll table that for a couple more meetings. Is there any other discussion tonight?
None for me?
Okay, next regular meeting is Tuesday, March 5th, 2013, 7 PM in the council chambers. And is there a motion to adjourn? Motion made to adjourn, made by Jill, seconded by Roby, all in favor? Okay. We're adjourned.
Just one more thing, I'll be sending out notices, when we canceled our planning